purchase, Mom.
This Nerd College video hasn't even started and that boy ain't right.
Greetings and welcome to Nerd College 101. Back in 1997, long before the debut of YouTube and even before the premiere of Adult Swim, you might be surprised to find out that the Fox television network was, among other things, one of the most prominent platforms for animation that was aimed at adult audiences. Their flagship cartoon, The Simpsons, had just passed The Flintstones as the longest-running primetime animated show, and it was time for them to greenlight another series that would soon become another cultural phenomenon. Today we'll be discussing the origins of the King of the Hill franchise, the reasons it appealed to so many different kinds of people, and discuss what to expect from their upcoming 14th season.
And then that little hole, you just put a little hole around there, just like Bobby Unser says, it's like it'd go boom, boom, just like that. Well, I wish it were that simple, Boomhauer.
King of the Hill was created by the duo of Mike Judge and Greg Daniels. Judge was reveling in the success of his hit MTV show Beavis and Butthead, and Daniels had up to then been a writer on The Simpsons. What is commonly known is that the show centers on Hank and Peggy Hill, their son Bobby, and the diverse cast of friends and family that they interact with in each episode. One thing that's less widely known is the fact that Hank and Peggy were based on two characters that appeared in Judge's previous series named Tom and Marcy Anderson. Not only do the characters share some physical attributes, but the voices of Tom and Hank were both provided by Mike Judge himself.
What in the hell is that? Must be them damn buzzard hawks.
After its premiere, the show quickly gained popularity due to its likable characters and relatable situations, as well as for its humor and social commentary. In a time when cartoons were known for their wacky, unrealistic plots and characters, King of the Hill stood out for being so very down-to-earth. Even more so than its contemporaries, it filled the role of a traditional family sitcom that just happened to be animated. The show takes place in the fictional town of Arlen, Texas, and generally centers on Hank Hill, the titular patriarch, whose traditional values are constantly being tested in hilarious ways by his eccentric friends, family, and modern society as a whole. Much of the humor is derived from Hank's attempts to lead what he considers to be a normal, simple American life being turned upside down at every opportunity. An episode might begin with Hank trying to have a regular day of selling his beloved propane and propane accessories, but after injuring his back in a mundane way, he's forced by his doctor to take yoga classes, and hilarity ensues as we enjoy watching Hank try to put up with new age health nuts and their obnoxious instructor. Or after tasting some of the best food he's ever had in his life, and finding out that it came from an organic co-op, he's forced to set aside his capitalist values and join up with a commune of zany hippies in order to be able to enjoy the best beef in Texas.
And there wasn't nigh as many as there was a while ago. Every time I think about the bacon and the beans, I'll think about the fun we had way down in Hank!
One of the most charming and endearing elements of the show, however, is that while Hank's blue-collar skills and old-fashioned values are generally what save the day and help his community through the crisis of the week, he's not always correct. The show often explores the limitations and potential flaws of his worldview as well. Usually, after overcoming his initial prejudice, Hank will end up learning something valuable from the bizarre characters he comes into contact with, and grows just a little bit as a person. But not always.
I can do without Bill by my side. He brings nothing to this fight. But you?
You should have seen this coming, Hank. One by one, your friends will desert you. I'll be next.
Alongside Hank, the show is filled with characters, each of which is someone's favorite. He and his wife Peggy have been sweethearts since they were teenagers, although she attended the rival school, West Arlen High. Tenacious, well-meaning, and self-confident to a fault, Peggy works as a substitute Spanish teacher, though her grasp on the language is questionable at best. Regardless, she's Hank's closest companion and loves her family to a sometimes terrifying degree. Throughout the majority of the series, their only son, Bobby Hill, is enrolled at Tom Landry Middle School and dreams of his future as a prop comic despite his father's misgivings. Speaking personally as the very nerdy son of a blue-collar father, their relationship was always one of the key aspects that drew me to the show. Bobby is oftentimes everything that his father isn't, and vice versa, but throughout the show they continue to find ways to connect.
The original me is a super warrior from the year 2087. The second me, i.e. I, was created to help the first me fight the invading Mongol armies.
Perhaps the most popular regular characters, aside from the Hills, are Hank's three best friends, Bill, Dale, and Boomhauer. As shown to us regularly in the series, these hilarious oddballs meet with Hank every day after work to drink beer in the alley between their houses. And some of the show's funniest and most quotable lines come from their conversations. The four have known each other since childhood, and Boomhauer, Hank, Bill, and Dale held the positions of quarterback, running back, star offensive lineman, and water boy for the high school's football team respectively. Even the fact that Hank married his first love and bought a house next door to his three best friends says a lot about how little he enjoys change. Each of his friends and neighbors have their own families and acquaintances that add to the show's cast, and much like that other really successful Fox cartoon, King of the Hill features dozens of recurring characters that help make the town of Arlen feel like a real place. And it's also had its fair share of celebrity cameos from the likes of Alan Rickman, Gary Busey, and Michael Keaton, just to name a few. Brittany Murphy, known for her roles in Clueless and Girl Interrupted, voiced the character of Peggy's niece Luann for the entirety of the show's run. And her one true love, Elroy, Lucky Kleinschmidt, was portrayed in every one of his 28 episodes by none other than Mr. Tom Petty.
Let's go to the Agora Theater and get us some tickets.
Can I come? I don't have shoes.
The station's not about shoes. They're about rock. Come on.
One of the most fascinating aspects of King of the Hill has been its ability to appeal to a wide variety of demographics. The show certainly has a huge number of fans who take it at face value and appreciate stories about how conservative values win out in the face of today's problems. Upon closer inspection, though, one might start to notice how often the show actually deconstructs traditional values and puts them under a microscope for the viewer to analyze. Right next to episodes about fishing and saying goodbye to your truck, there are ones that touch on progressive topics like gender roles, sexism in the workplace, or even coming to terms with the fact that you just found out your dad is a gay cowboy. It's wild to think that the show is heralded as one of the greatest conservative programs in American television history, but also contains an episode in which Peggy learns to appreciate the benefits of finding out that her new best friend is also a drag queen. Did they do that on Yellowstone? You know what? I'm starting to think there's maybe just a chance that the writers of this show are some smart cookies who might have an insight or two about this funny little society of ours.
The complacency of fools will destroy them. Proverbs.
Get out of my house. Exodus.
12 years after its premiere, in 2009, King of the Hill began airing on Cartoon Network's late-night block of programming, Adult Swim. At first, it might seem strange that one of the least wacky cartoons of all time ended up alongside shows like The Venture Brothers or Squidbillies. But in actuality, there are some pretty unhinged episodes that fit right in. This introduced the show to an entirely new audience who found whole new reasons to appreciate it. So far, the show has aired over 250 episodes and has won numerous awards, including a Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Animated Program in 1999. In more recent years, the series has remained popular through various streaming services, and speaking as someone who has spent most of his life in the southern United States, it's still referenced, often to this day.
Pocket sand.
You took the wrong briefcase. Dang it, Dale.
Much like Futurama, another one of our favorite animated shows, King of the Hill was recently picked up by Hulu and will be revived with a 14th season beginning on August 4th. The big twist is, the new season will take place after an approximate 9-year time skip, during which time the Hills moved to Saudi Arabia so that Hank could take a propane job that would earn them a nest egg for retirement. Although this might sound shocking to some fans, it begins to make sense when you consider that Saudi Arabia is one of the world's largest producers of propane. Also, during an interview, the creators said that the Aramco base where the Hills have been residing has been like a miniaturized white picket fence America where Hank and Peggy have been kept unaware of the many changes in society that have taken place while they've been away. This is a genius move on the writer's part, since it allows our main characters to offer their fresh takes on life in modern America.
Nowadays, beer is fruitier, bolder, more assertive.
I've been drinking beer for 40 years, and I never wished once that it tasted more like fruit.
As shown to us in the updated opening sequence, Season 14 looks like it'll begin with the Hills returning to their former home and re-establishing their old friendships. The new intro is packed with details and hints to future events, and the show's creators even took the time to show us the changing seasons to mark the amount of time that's passed. The most prominent feature and biggest mystery left to us by the new introduction is the identity of the man who's been living in the Hill residence while they've been away, although we're sure they'll reveal that early on in the new season. In surprise twists for both their characters, we can see Boomhauer leave the alley with a woman and child, and Dale has apparently entered politics and has run for mayor of Arlen. God help us all. Bobby is now in his 20s and has been working as a chef in Dallas, which makes a lot of sense since the series has already shown us Bobby's appreciation of beef and his love of cooking.
You're on your way to being a real cook. You do the honors, Bobby.
The name of the restaurant he works at is called Robata Chain, which tells us a couple of things. There's a good chance that it's likely owned or at least payrolled by Chain Wasanasong, the son of one of Arlen's wealthiest residents. Chain is Bobby's age and perhaps wanted to take advantage of Bobby's cooking talent in order to make a name for himself. Even more interesting is the fact that robata is a Japanese cooking method that involves preparing food over charcoal, which will surely go over just great with his father.
Charcoal? Now strip off your clothes, put them in the washer, and throw in some fish sticks. Your father has got a nose like a Doberman.
Although some of Rainy Street's residents seem to have fared worse than others during the break, Hank's return to the alley looks to be just the thing to get everyone back on track. Now that they've retired, the Hills will have more time than ever to be dragged into ridiculous situations, and here at the Nerd College, we couldn't be happier. We can't wait to see what everyone in Arlen has been up to over the years, and from what we've seen so far, it looks like King of the Hill will pick up right where it left off, with some of TV's best characters and clever, relatable humor with just enough social criticism to make us think. And that's all for today. Although there's so much to discuss and so many great characters that we didn't mention, we hope this video has served as a nice refresher for the series. Or if you're checking out the show for the first time to see what all the fuss is about, we hope we've given you a good idea of what to expect. Who's your favorite character? I've always thought of myself as a Bobby, and some of my favorites are Lucky, Cotton, and of course, Dale Gribble. For even more videos intended to pique your interest without giving away the whole story, check out our playlist in the description below. And remember to like and subscribe as it really helps our channel grow. Thank you for watching. Now, off to your next class.